This is why high mesh builds give you a significant advantage in Fortnite, especially in competitive play. So throw those mobile builds away. If you don't know the difference, this is a high mesh wall and this is a low mesh wall. Low meshes, I believe, are only on PC on performance mode, but if you're on console, you're in luck because high meshes are default on console and that's what we want. But first I'll zip over the pros of low meshes so you can compare the two, or if you're on console, see what you're missing out on. Low meshes have two main advantages that people like. One, the FPS boost. Not going to spend a lot of time on this, but low meshes are rendering less triangles, vertices, whatever, per build. So it doesn't take as much processing power, giving you slightly more frames, but not that much. The difference between regular Fortnite modes, DX11 or 12, compared to performance mode has a huge difference. But if you're already on performance mode and you switch your builds, it's not that crazy of a difference, even if you're on a lower end machine. 2, why people like low meshes is there's no debris animation. Again, I'll zip over this, but low meshes don't have a big breaking animation. When you destroy them, there's a small thing, but it's hardly noticeable. Whereas for high meshes, when you break them, there's a shake and a bigger animation, and sometimes people will lose enemies in the dust or whatever it might be. But that concludes the benefits of low meshes, and if you are a low mesh player and I missed something, please comment it down below. Again, builds are just a preference, not trying to diss here. But here's why I like to use high mesh builds, especially in Fortnite competitive. So we've talked about the downsides, but honestly, if you have somewhat of a formidable PC, the FPS shouldn't be a problem. I mean, high meshes are default for a reason. It doesn't break your game. Number 1, the reason why high meshes are better is its wall hacks. In competitive, everyone cone camps because you can't see through them on low meshes. But with high meshes, you can. When everyone has a limited amount of ammo and is shambles from rotates, you need to be selective with your shots. So where better to aim than at someone you know is guaranteed there and is in a weird crouch stance where they can't defend with a stare. It's free tags. If you haven't used both meshes before or haven't changed in a while, this is the difference between high and low mesh cones. And here's the difference with walls. The difference is really pronounced with wooden builds, but even with brick and metal, the difference is clear. Literally wall hacks. Even when structures aren't fully built, low meshes have this flat, almost solid texture, whereas high meshes you can see right through a transparent piece. Number 2, the reason why high meshes are better is you can get easy tags / refreshes. It's no secret when people are shambles in Fortnite competitive, especially in endgames, they build in wood. This means they are out or close to being out of hard builds and are likely on their last legs. High meshes becomes important when you're trying to bleed bullets through builds. When trying to bleed bullets, you might only get 1 or 2 through, and knowing exactly where the enemy is in their box is so important. With high meshes, you can see through those cracks or transparent builds from constantly rebuilding fresh walls, even if they are using hard mats. You can track them with your crosshair from outside of the box and bleed shots in. This will give you an advantage in any fight you're in, as well as potentially get you some kills from weak opponents. Last FNCS qualifier, I died to bullets being bled through my builds on the last game, and I knew I had to drop this tip for you guys because it is so important in making games or breaking games. Number 3, the reason why high meshes are better is you can get protected snipes and tags with it. This one I've talked about before, but with high meshes and while sniping, you have literal walls. You can fully aim in through these cracks in a wall and have a completely vertical line of sight. And when you're at the top of your box on a stair, you can easily peek out for 1 microsecond with your crosshair already lined up on someone before their game even registered you peeked. This is what Peeker's advantage is all about. In this chapter, you're not just limited to snipers. Since you can put scopes on any gun, you can get surge tags too. Late game when Storm Surge turns on, you can line up in the top of your box and wait for people to appear without exposing yourself first. Number 4, the reason why high meshes are better is the door edit. And man, I find more and more uses for the door edit every day, but this is the difference between a door on high meshes versus low meshes. The difference is actually disgusting. You can perfectly scout out an opponent and then just open the door and shoot them. This is better than editing your wall to shoot them, since editing makes your wall weak and then they can spray right through back at you. This makes it so you can just open it, shoot, move to the side, and close it, all while keeping your wall at full HP. Although, this might not be ideal if you have auto-open doors on like I do, but if you don't, this could be a really viable strategy. Like seriously guys, I'm just going into game and trying to find the best tips for you guys, and I'm discovering a lot myself. So if you support that hustle and the fact that you're getting original found tips by me instead of this regurgitated bullshit on TikTok or whatever, then please invest in the channel. You can be OG and say you were here before 12K. Now I got about 5 to 6 more really good sniping tips if you thought those last 2 high mesh tricks were useful. That video will be right here, and seriously, those tips again are not the basic bullshit. I'd be surprised if you knew them all. Use code reidtheninja to support my crippling V-Buck addiction, and on that note, I'm signing off.